Hey everybody, so today we're going to be checking out the NUX Cerberus, which even at the end of 2020 might still be the best pedal you can get for under $300. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that this is not a sponsored video. I am not getting paid by NUX to say anything. I have bought the Cerberus with my own hard-earned money, and these are just my honest thoughts being a user of the pedal. In case you have a question about the pedal and I don't seem to answer it throughout the video, just feel free to drop the question down in the comments below and I will answer your question as soon as possible. So the first thing we're going to talk about is its build quality. The NUX Cerberus is built like a tank. It comes in a full metal case and it has a good weight that you feel very confident in this product. This thing has been on my pedal board for almost 2 years now, and during that time it's got thrown around, it's got stomped on, it's got kicked, and it's even been left out in the sun for a couple of hours. And it still works perfectly, not to mention the extremely humid weather conditions here in Sri Lanka. So let's dive right into this pedal. So the first way you can use this pedal is in patch mode. And in patch mode you can have 4 patches per bank and you have 32 banks. Or you can use it in Pedalboard mode, where you can use each of these sections as individual stomp boxes. When you're using this pedal in Pedalboard mode, the bank up and down switches function as tap and control switches. The tap switch is used to tap out delay times, and control can be used to toggle the reverb separately from the delay, the mod effect separately from the chorus, a boost, which its value can be set to on the I/O section of the pedal, or as a bypass for the overdrive and distortion. You can select what the control foot switch does by using the control switch to switch what the control switch does. If that made any sense. But you can do it with this button. Yeah. We're going to look at these two blocks together. These are the analog overdrive and distortion circuits. The overdrive on this pedal is really responsive. You can get anything from a clean boost to an aggressive crunch sound, or the way I like it, where it sounds like an amp being pushed to the point of breakup. This way you can get the best of both worlds. When you play soft, it really cleans up the sound a lot, but when you start to dig into the strings, you can get that aggressive bite that you want. The distortion can also be set to the tamer side of things, but can also get extremely saturated. I think the real beauty though is when you find the balance between the overdrive and the distortion and find the perfect blend of the two to get the sound you're looking for. Using 2 switches on the board, you can easily change the routing of the overdrive and distortion sections. So you can either get the overdrive going into the distortion or the other way around, or you can even run them in parallel where they won't affect each other. Both the overdrive and distortion sections also have 3 knobs: the gain knob, the master tone knob, and a level knob. So there's a lot of sounds that you can get just from these 2 sections on the pedal. From tight rhythm to soaring leads, these 2 got you covered. The next thing that this pedal has going for it is the cabinet simulator and the IR loader. Now, since the overdrive and distortion are analog circuits in the unit, they sound great going into guitar amps or speakers, but they don't sound that great going into just about anything else like a mixer or an audio interface like I have here. But this is where the cabinet simulator comes into play. The cabinet simulator uses an impulse response to emulate a particular amp or speaker setup. So as your guitar is being played through the analog, overdrive and distortion circuits, it's reacting to the impulse response, which in turn can make it sound like you're playing through a 4x12 when you're actually just plugging it straight into a mixer or into an audio interface. So all this time you've been hearing the guitar with the cabinet simulator engaged, but this is what it sounds like disengaged going straight into my audio interface. Yep, it sounds like trash. And here it is back with the cabinet simulator engaged. Through the software they give you, you can easily load in your own impulse responses if you want to. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how impulse responses work, but if you want to learn more about it, I'm going to leave a helpful link down in the description box below. The Cerberus also has an effects loop which you can use after the overdrive and distortion sections if you want to run it straight to an amp before hitting the modulation and time-based effects. You can also use the effects loop to run any pedals in between the overdrive distortion section and the modulation and time-based effects. The modulation section on the pedal is further divided into two parts: choruses and other modulation effects. There are 3 choruses that you can select from: an analog, a digital, and a modern. And from the other modulation effects, you can select from a tremolo, a phaser, and a univibe. There are toggles which allow you to select which effect you want for each part. And there are also knobs which control the effect parameters. The left 2 control the choruses, and the right 2 control the other modulation effects. And the one in the middle is a level control for them both. Next is the delay section, and this is similar to the mod section in that it's divided into 2 parts: the delay and the reverb. There are 3 delay types to select from: a 70s, which is a bucket brigade type delay ranging from 40 to 400 milliseconds. Then there's the 60s, which is my personal favorite on the pedal and is an analog delay which ranges from 55 milliseconds to 550 milliseconds. And then there's the 80s delay, which is a digital delay ranging from 80 to 800 milliseconds. The delay also has 3 knobs to work with: a level, a repeat, and a time control, which can be used to also select the subdivision in case you're using the tap function to tap tempo your delays. There are also 3 reverbs which you can select from: a spring, a plate, and a hall. And actually there's a 4th which you can swap out for one of the other 3 using the software that comes with the pedal, and that's the much loved shimmer reverb. The reverb just has 2 knobs to control its parameters: a level and a decay. However, there is also one more toggle in this section which will allow you to change the routing. So you can switch between the delay going into the reverb going into the delay, or you can run them in parallel where they won't affect each other. So just like the overdrive and distortion sections, there are no limitations as to how you can play with the sound in this section. On the back of the pedal, we have an expression pedal input, which can bring you more control. Then we have the input jack, the effects loop out, the ground lift switch, a knob to select the boost value, the USB port for connecting with the software as well as firmware updates, MIDI in and out for MIDI control, a level control of plus 4 dB boost or minus 10 dB pad, the input from the effects loop, output 1, output 2, headphone output, the 9V 500 milliamp hour power supply port, and the on and off switch. Now just a quick note, output 1 and the headphones output will just have the raw analog output signal and will not be affected by the cabinet simulator. Only output 2 will be affected when the cabinet simulator is engaged. So it's possible to run the raw analog signal to an amp and at the same time run another signal with the cabinet simulator engaged to front of house. And this adds some crazy extra flexibility to the entire pedal. There's also a kill dry switch on the pedal, which essentially just cuts out the entire dry signal of your pedal. So you're gonna hear only the delays and reverb of your signal. I'm not so sure what you can use that for. I myself have not found a use for it, but maybe there's someone out there that really needs it and, well, it's there. The software that comes with the Cerberus is simple to use and it's easy to make and save patches onto your pedal. Here you can also set up what your external foot switch does. And if you have a dual foot switch, you can set up 2 functions by using a TRS cable. But you can also make and save patches just by using the controls here and the save switch, which is located right above the drive section. So what you would do is set all your settings the way you want them, click the save button, select where you want it to save, and then hit the save button again. One thing I really like about the pedal is that it plays really nicely if you're using it alongside other pedals. So you can add this onto your pedal board with some of your other pedals and it's gonna sound amazing. Now, while this pedal has a lot of good things going for it, there is just one thing that really bugged me about the pedal, and that is the tuner function. The tuner function unfortunately just has these 3 tiny LEDs to work with to get a tuning, and it's really hard to get a solid tuning using this pedal. It's just really finicky and it's the only thing that's missing from this perfect pedal. So you should definitely consider buying a separate tuner pedal to go along with this to save yourself from a lot of grief. But all in all, there's a reason that this thing is my main pedal. It just sounds great, and apart from the tuning function, this thing is extremely versatile and super flexible. This pedal packs a big punch for quite a moderate price. As of right now, while making this video, the pedal is priced at $300 US, or $299 to be precise. It's the perfect pedal for anyone who wants the best of both the analog and digital worlds. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video about the NUX Cerberus, and just please do support me by smashing that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below telling me whether you've played through this pedal before, or if you know one that's better than this, just drop a comment below and tell me what it is.